Hello and welcome to Beans and Skeins. My name is Chloe and this is a project vlog about the Hyacinth tank by Andrea Gaughan. So I applied to test knit this pattern because when I saw it, I was like, this would be the most incredible summer knitted lace dress ever. So the tank top has like a traditional tank top fit. It ends just about the hip. And in my tester form, I was like, I would like to make this as a dress with your blessing. And then when I was accepted into the tester group, I messaged her and I was like, hey, I would love to make this as a dress. Is that okay? Would you prefer that I don't? And she was like, I actually picked an additional tester in your size so that you could make it as a dress. I was like, amazing. She's graded it to fit a men's size chart and a women's size chart. So there's actually two different fits in the pattern. It's recommended to knit in Ritual Dyes Undine DK. And I loved the color that Andrea picked for hers, which was kind of like one of the the drawing factors for me. I was like, that's a pretty color. And she knit hers in the color Hyacinth, which is like what she named the tank after. I looked at what it would cost for me to get that yarn. And because I want to make it as a dress, I don't really know exactly how much yarn I'm going to need. Obviously, that's not included in the yardage because it's a tank top. I'm kind of going a bit rogue. And so I was like, okay, well, I would rather have too much than too little. Like I'm not a mini dress gal. I'd probably want this to end just past my knees. I'm probably gonna need a lot of yarn. And so once I factored in like the total cost of the yarn, plus tax, plus shipping, that is a $400 dress. I can't do that. But at a store in town, I found this Sammy by Amano, which is in the color Sugared Violet, and it's 100% organic Peruvian Pima cotton. And it's a really beautiful purple blue, which is really, really similar to the Hyacinth color in Ritual Dyes. So I was like, this is perfect. I got 10 skeins of yarn, which means I believe I have 10 skeins, so 1,500 meters or 1,640 yards. I'm hoping that'll be enough. If not, I think it's fairly easy to get this yarn. I don't think I bought them out, and so obviously this is a test knit. I'm gonna be knitting it in a fairly short amount of time, and I thought it would be fun to make a project blog about knitting it and like the changes that I make for like the hip shaping to get over the bum and stuff. And yeah, that's why I'm doing this. I hope to see you along the way. I've skeined up my yarn. I tried to find a nice place to put my camera to like video me skeining up my yarn, and there wasn't one. So I was like, well, that's okay. It's fine. I've got 3 cakes ready to go. I'm gonna do a gauge swatch. The gauge for this pattern is 19 stitches and 32 rows in the lace pattern, and the recommended needle is 3.75 millimeters. What is that in terms of size? I feel like I've lost my US size 5. made a rinky-dinky little swatch. There we go. So the lace motif is really pretty. And the reason why my swatch is so tiny, which I know is ridiculous, is because I'm mostly just trying to get like a basic understanding on if I'm way off or not. And that is because the tank top is knit in a drop shoulder style. So you start with the back panel. And I think that knitting the back panel is going to be bigger. It's going to give me a better idea of if I'm on gauge or not. But I just want to know if I'm way, way off. Although I find it so hard to count gauge in lace patterns. So, oops. I think I'm pretty close to on gauge. So I'm just gonna unwind my swatch and then I'm gonna get going on the back panel. And then as my back panel gets a bit bigger, I will check gauge again. And then same with row gauge. I don't think that a swatch is gonna give me an accurate row gauge at all, especially being a cotton and being a dress. I think my row gauge is going to grow pretty significantly as I make my dress longer and longer. And so this will be something that I'll just have to kind of keep in mind when I'm planning on what kind of waist and hip shaping I'm gonna do. And I'll just have to factor that in. So I will check in with you when I have some work done on the back panel and I'll show you how it's going then. Good morning. And it's bright and early. It's like 6:30 o'clock. 6:30 o'clock. It's 6:30 in the morning here. I just wanted to pop on and show you my update. It's only been one day, but I've done the back panel. And I thought before I picked up for the front panel or the left and shoulder neck shaping, I would just show you my progress. It is knitting up pretty quickly, which is awesome. The yarn is so soft. I think I mentioned I've never used this yarn before, but this is really nice. It's like really silky smooth. And I think it has maybe a little bit more give than some of the other cottons. Like I'm working with a different cotton at the moment and I'm finding it like quite stiff, but this one I'm finding less stiff. I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe because it's less ropey. Like it's definitely, you know, oh, here we go. No, there we go. It's definitely like you can see the plies, right? Like it's got some bounce. It's so soft. It's really nice. I like it a lot. Anyway, yeah, just a really quick update on my back panel before I get going on the front. The one thing that I've found is I have to stop every 4 rows and figure out how my next lace row is supposed to go, because the lace rows alternate either doing knit 2 togethers to decrease or slip knits to decrease. And no matter what I do, I'm like, okay, next row, like next decrease row is knit 2 together. And then by the time I get to that knit 2 together row, I have forgotten. So then I have to stop and I have to go and look at my yarn or my knitting from the previous decrease row and figure out what I'm doing. So that's kind of ridiculous because it's only 4 rows. But yeah, I'm hoping that in the next day or so, I'll get it connected under the arms. And yeah, it's knitting up a bit faster than I thought it was. I thought it was going to. I'm quite a slow lace knitter, and so I'm pleasantly surprised that it's going so quickly. I mean, it's not a very big piece of fabric. It's pretty small, so maybe that's why. Anyway, see you next time. It has been only about 24 hours since my last check-in, but I've made a pretty good amount of progress, and so I wanted to do a bit of a try on and show you, and also check to make sure it's fitting. So I'm wearing a swimsuit because this is how I'm planning on wearing the dress when it's done, is like more of a swimsuit cover up. It is like quite an open lace. There we go. So I personally, like, I can't foresee myself being comfortable wearing this with just like a bra underneath. I could see myself potentially like getting a pair of, you know, nude shorts and like a nude shade camisole, or potentially like a fun color. But I'm never gonna wear these with my bra and undies because it's see-through. So I put on my swimsuit, I'm trying it on. I've done only about an inch under the arms. It's almost 10 rows. That might not quite be right. But let me just, I'm trying to get my whole entire head in the screen. Here we go. So I haven't done any of the neck finishing or the armhole finishing. So this is gonna have an I-cord on it. And then I'm now at the point where I should start the waist shaping. And so I just wanted to, you know, try it on and double check to make sure it's fitting, because I am working it on an itty bitty needle. So I was looking at it and I was like, that's looking small. I better double check. It's fine. It's actually fitting really well. The one thing that I am keeping in mind is I am probably gonna have to do my I-cord edging on the arm and neck hole quite tight, because as this grows, like, this is only one skein of yarn. Well, that's not true. It's one and a little bit, but I've only done, I joined my second ball right when right after I joined in the round. So I've done about 10 rows in the second ball, but it's not that heavy right now. So as I knit more and more, it's gonna pull down, and especially right here, it's gonna pull down quite a lot with the weight of the dress. And then if I'm wearing it as a swimsuit cover up, of course, like, if it's wet, it's gonna have more weight. But overall, right now, I'm really happy with this. It's knitting up really quickly. I mentioned this in my last update, but this yarn is a dream. It's so soft and bouncy. I really like it. So I'm really excited to see how this knits up for the rest of the dress. And yeah, it's looking really good. I am loving this, and it's quite an easy stitch pattern. It's easy, it's pretty intuitive, and I'm just about ready to move on to the waist shaping. That's me. Okay, so since my last update, which was yesterday morning, I have actually ripped back to the underarm and started the body again. What I realized yesterday was that wearing a swimsuit, which is what this is, changes my bust circumference, which I guess makes sense compared to wearing a bra, but I didn't like really think about it before I started. And so, and it actually compresses quite a lot, and I don't know if maybe I should do like just like a regular measurement where I'm wearing a bra and I double check my bust circumference, because it's a lot different than I would have thought, and I didn't realize that this swimsuit like compressed so much. My regular bust circumference right now has been between 117 and 120 centimeters, and in the swimsuit it was 113. So that is between 4 and 7 centimeters smaller than it would be normally. And so I just wonder if maybe my bust circumference has changed a little bit. That aside, the size that I picked should have a finished bust circumference of 115 centimeters. So that should be like just a little bit of negative ease if I was wearing a bra. That was giving me a lot more positive ease around the bust than I had wanted. And I'm also trying to keep in mind that A, I haven't blocked this yet. B, if I'm wearing it as a swimsuit cover up, there are going to be times where I'm wearing it and it gets wet. And it's cotton, and when cotton gets wet, it sags a bit. And so I'm hoping to end up with a dress that has like more of a neutral to slightly negative ease pre-blocked, so that when it's blocked and when I'm wearing it in real life, it ends up kind of, even if it does stretch to have positive ease, it's not going to be like saggy, because what I really don't want is like for this to just like sag out. And I'm also I'm going to keep that in mind also for when I'm doing my I-cord bind off, is maybe doing it slightly tighter than I would if it was a shirt. But now to actually where I am. So yesterday I tried it on and I gave you an update then. I then ripped it out and started again. So I removed 4 stitches from each side. So 8 stitches from the bust circumference, and now this is perfect. It's exactly what I was envisioning, and it's not feeling too tight. It's not stretching out, you know, like if this was too small, I would be getting something like that. I'm not. It's fitting really well. And I've knit, I think that's maybe 10, maybe not quite, like 8 centimeters or so. The other thing that I have done, and I'll show you on this side because I think it'll be, oh no, I'll show you on this side, it'll be better on this side, is the t-shirt design has like a faux seam that runs down the side. Because this is gonna be going over my hips and my bum, I decided to remove the faux seam because the seam is done by doing purl 1, knit 1 through the back loop, purl 1 on both sides to kind of create that clean line all the way down. And that purl stitch is gonna stretch out a bit. And so what I didn't want is for it to stretch unevenly, if that makes sense, because that, like, those 4 purl stitches would be the only purl stitches in the whole garment. And so for example, like if it was tighter at one part, let's say if I'm going for like a neutral ease on the hips and the bum, if I sit down or something, then those purl stitches are gonna stretch out more comparative to the rest of the lace, and I didn't want that. And so I just opted to remove that faux seam. And so I'm getting like a nice clean lace all the way around. And I'll show you on this side because it's not quite as clean on this side, just due to the beginning of round. And you can actually see I had removed the faux seam, but I hadn't incorporated any lace into the beginning of round. And when I was looking at it, I was like, that's gonna be noticeable because that would run all the way down. So then I've just started incorporating a lace repeat there right at the beginning of round on the lace rows. And I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I think it's looking really good, and this is my second ball of yarn, so I think I'm doing pretty well. I got all the way past the join in the first ball, and this is, it's maybe like a third of the second ball is left, and so I'm going to continue doing that. And once I'm done the second ball, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the armhole and the neck bind offs. And I recently completed a sweater with waist shaping, and I don't like it in the sweater, and so I'm not going to use that on sweaters going forward. But I think with the dress, let me just prop myself up here. I think with a dress, you know, I've done 2 rounds of waist shaping and I'm still not over my full bust, or I might just be right at my full bust. And so if I do, let's say 2 more rounds of waist shaping, like here and then here, right at my natural waist, then I will be able to start increasing for my hips, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna, as I go forward, like right now I'm just kind of doing the standard test knit with the exception of the side seams. As I get more into having to figure out like increase rates, I'm gonna add more about that, because that's kind of really where this pattern for me is gonna deviate from what the standard size is and what the instructions are, because I'm gonna continue knitting. And yeah, I hope you all are doing well. I'll check in with you later. Hello, I have an update on my Hyacinth tank top dress version that I am testing. And it's been about a week since I filmed an update on this project. We had Easter weekend, and like that was really long. I had 5 days off, and then my partner also had a day off after that, and I just can't film when he's here. So anyway, now it's Thursday of the following week. So it's been about a week. I have done a lot on this project, but I have held off on doing too much because I knew that I wanted to film something. But I have the I cords on the neck and the 2 armholes done. There we go. So I modified this slightly from the pattern. The pattern calls for a 4-stitch I cord. I've done a 3-stitch I cord, and that is just because I think it looks like a little bit thinner and a little bit nicer than a 4-stitch I cord. And then it has a little bit less stretch than a 4-stitch I cord because there's less yarn involved. And I think like with the weight of a cotton dress, I want something with like a little bit more structure to it. So that's why I did that. I've never done an I cord edging before. I quite liked it. I thought it was really fun. It's been on my to-do list for a while, and I just like, anytime a pattern comes up that I could do one on or that calls for one, I just never end up doing it. So hooray for my first ever I cord edging. I have worked quite a lot. So I've worked, I'll show you the side because that'll show it a bit better. Here we go. So I've worked decreases from the underarm here up to here. So there is 6 decrease rounds total. So it's about every 2 rounds or so, not 2 rounds, sorry, 2 pattern repeats. I am doing a decrease round. And then starting here at this stitch marker, this is when I'm starting to do my increases. So I've done 4 increases every pattern repeat, so every 4 rounds, and I tried it on and it's looking pretty good. So it's tight enough on the waist where I need it to be, and now that I've done 4 increase rounds in a row, it's got lots of fabric around the first part of the increase on my hips. It's kind of funny because if I was knitting the tank top version, I would be done. I would have been done kind of like when I got to right here just before I started the increases again. So it's tank top length right now, and I still have quite a lot of knitting to do, which is like a little bit demoralizing, but I like it a lot. I love the color. It's like, it's feeling good. That is where I am with the Hyacinth tank by Andrea Gaughan test knit. Hello, I have another update on my Hyacinth tank dress version by Andrea Gaughan. I am just blazing through this thing. This is a much faster knit than I was expecting. I have never attempted to knit a dress before, and I think I've been knitting on it for maybe 3 weeks, but not monogamously, and I am almost done. This is the end here of my 6th ball, and I'll show you, I think I need 1 more ball and then I might be done. So in our last check-in, I would have showed that I've got the armhole edging done here. That is a 3-stitch I cord on the neck and the armholes. I knit down, and you can see I've got a lot of stitch markers here just to mark my increases and decreases. I believe where we left off is I had done 4 increases, increasing every 4 rows, and then what I ended up doing was 5 increases every 8 rows. So that's 12 increases total over the course of, oh god, I'm not gonna do that math. Anyway, I've removed some of the stitch markers now because I needed them for other projects, and I was traveling this weekend and I didn't have any extras, so I was like, well, I'll just write down what I did for the Ravelry notes, and then I will take these stitch markers and repurpose them. So that's what I've done. So what I've done is I've done all those increases. I reached here, so to the 12th increase total, and then I've just been knitting straight until we get here. And I tried it on while I was away, and I've just put a stitch marker in for where it was, where I last tried it on. So hang on, right, where are you? Right here. That's where it was, and I believe at that point I needed, when I was trying it on, I was like, I need at least another 10 centimeters, so like 4 inches, or maybe even up to 20 centimeters, so 8 inches. And what I'm going to do is, since I'm now at the end of my 6th ball, I'm going to wind up my 7th ball, and I think I'm just going to use that, and that will get me at least to the 10 centimeter mark. And I'm just going to use that until I think I have enough for the bind off, and then I'm just going to wrap it up there. Originally, I had thought that I wanted it to go below the knee, but I recently got this cute little denim, it's a mini dress. I'm not sure, like it does come to mid-thigh, but it is the shortest dress that I own, and I think it's such a cute length, and I think for a tank top cover-up, it would be really cute. I actually did take a really horrendous photo of me trying this on over top of the denim midi dress while I was away, just to see how it was like falling on there. So I'll put that in if I can remember to do that. It's a terrible photo. I'm like, hee. Yes, so I was thinking that the denim midi dress length is, I think, quite cute, and it would be perfect for a swimsuit cover-up, and so that's actually what I'm going to aim for instead of going below the knee, which means that I'm almost done, which is crazy. I'm really excited to see how it ends up, and I'm so excited that it's going to be done before swimsuit season. I did a little tiny sort of, I mean it's a rolled bind off. It doesn't roll a huge amount, but I wanted it to kind of look a bit similar to the I-cord edging that I did on the upper body. And I've tucked in all the sleeves, and it's done. So let me go put it on, and I will show you how it looks. So this is how we're looking. I had originally, I believe, talked about doing a dress that was past my knee, like down to here, but since then I realized that I really like this kind of length, and I thought it would be perfect for a swimsuit cover-up. I am so happy with how this turned out. I am wearing my swimsuit and shorts underneath, so I know you can see some skin, but I am fully clothed underneath this dress, which is how I'm gonna wear it. Like I mentioned, like this is too sheer for my preference, and even seeing myself right now in the viewfinder, I'm like, girl, you look naked. But I'm not, and I'm telling you that I'm not. But this is how it looks. I'm so pleased with this. I know that my mom is really jealous. She's going to Barbados at the end of this month. Well, she's going to Barbados at the end of May. I think this pattern's not out till June, so I might wait to release the project vlog for then, but whatever. She's going to Barbados at the end of May, and she's asked me to make her one, and I'm like, I will not be doing that, Mom, but you're welcome to borrow this one. So yes, this is the end of my first ever project vlog. Thanks for watching.